Good morning and welcome back to the OT. Charles Fisher. I have a very special guest in the studio with me. This young lady from, she was like 12 or 13, North Andrews High School Invitational. Went over there, saw her compete in just about every event. The only event she didn't compete in was the 3,000 and the 5,000. She did the triple jump, the long jump, the 100, the relays. Tamara Myers, welcome to the OT.
Thank you for having me.
Triple jump, long jump, graduate of Arkansas University over there in Fayetteville. Uh,
Respect.
how has 2020 been for you? We're preparing for the Olympics, and then this COVID just make a mess out of
I
everything.
know. It started off really well. We had a good off-season training. Coming into this year, we basically got to two meets at the University of Arkansas, Tyson Invitational and Gibson Relays in Jamaica. And so it was looking pretty good leading up to March. And unfortunately, COVID hit and we had to immediately stop training, travel, working out in inside in our yards. And so it's been a really hard adjustment. But now we're getting back in the groove of things of trying to find ways to be innovative with training to stay fit and maintain our fitness at this point.
How do you do that?
Well, currently we're either at the beach, we're either at a hill, a park, the cricket club. As you know, the track and field stadium is currently closed, and so that's been a big disadvantage for athletes. Certainly, training at home with the government emergency orders, with the curfews, lockdowns, and so it's been a challenge. I'm not gonna lie, and it's hindering our development in terms of focusing on technique at the training at the stadium, and so we're really hoping for good news pretty soon because this is a crucial time in the off-season training where we need to focus on technique, especially as jumpers. And so I'm just hoping for good news sometime soon.
How disappointed were you not to go to Olympics this year, Tokyo?
Um, I'm probably in the best shape of my life. I'm not only saying that, you have to prove that. And I was looking forward to putting good results there to be at the Olympics, to be the first triple jump female beam and triple jumper at the Olympics. And it's pretty disappointing to delay it, but I'm not disappointed more so than not being there. But it gives me more preparation time to even perfect my craft and perfect my technique. So I'm looking forward to 2021. But in order to do that, we have to be prepared. And so
Mm-hmm.
we need to have access to the facilities, to the gyms. Massage therapists and our chiropractors, they're probably going to either reduce hours or, lock down or shut down. And so all of that is affecting us going into 2021. And so to be at our best, we need all of these resources and the facilities at the same time to be able to compete at our best.
Funding, that's a lot of funding, and funding ain't coming in like it used to.
No.
So how are you managing? No,
Um,
just
well, Currently I work at the Bahamas Agriculture Marine Science Institute, BAMSI, and before that they allow me sufficient training time, and so I'm being funded that, as well as I'm a government subvented athlete, so I get something at the end of the month, which is really good. I never complain about the amount because to get something at all
mm-hmm.
is
That's good.
is amazing. So I'm really appreciative of that fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So how you been dealing with COVID in the whole? You getting the wettest mask, you can't breathe properly, you need your oxygen to flow to run. How you been doing that?
Listen, it's been a big adjustment. Trying to train with a mask on is difficult, but unfortunately, but we social distance where we don't have to have our mask on, and so we try to be really strict in that fact. But to constantly be walking around with your mask on, luckily as athletes you should have good lungs, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that plays a big factor in it, but I'm just hoping for sometime soon that in the near future. I doubt it's going to be now, but we have to live with what's going on right now and follow the health protocols to be able to keep ourselves safe. And so it's something that we have to do.
What's the chat like in the athletes group at your when y'all talk, your little chat group, y'all?
Uh,
Don't let out all the secrets, but just tell me what's the mentality like?
well, the athletes are trying not to be as frustrated. And like Tramika said, it's really basically it's not the federation's fault that we can have access to the track and field stadium or the gym. A gym is at the track and field stadium, but I don't know if we'll be able to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're either talking about training at the track, the hours that we'll be able to train at the track, the gym, getting help in terms of financial assistance for those that don't have it. It's just a lot of frustration, especially during this time, and a lot of athletes just, need some kind of assurance that something is going to change or, sometime soon.
Yeah, speaking with Tamara Myers, long jump, triple jumper out of Andros, go on to Arkansas. Now she's back here working at BAMSI. How's work how's adjustment been to getting back to getting to work now? No
Um,
more school, no more just relax.
no, well, I'm currently, they allow me to work at home now, which is good.
Mm.
So I can have some flexible time with training and then working. And I'm in the accounts department, so a lot of the majority of the responsibility falls on me and then my coworkers. So, I'm managing pretty well. One thing I know about college, it teaches you to multitask, and you
Mm.
have to work and train. And so, nothing really changed for me. But I'm appreciative that I have a job and that I could train somewhat. And so, I'm just taking it one step at a time, one day at a time.
How's Andres?
Uh,
How's Andres?
I really miss home and I need to go home. People
uh,
ask me all the time, well, when was the last time you've been home? Not gonna say the year because they're probably listening to me right now, and
mm,
so I'm trying to get back home as soon as I can. But this is probably the worst time to say travel, especially
mm,
domestically, and considering that the 14-day quarantine has just been implemented again, and so home is still lovely. Home
mm,
is still awesome, refreshing, and I miss the clean air.
mm.
I miss my family, my brothers, and so I'm looking forward to seeing them sometime soon.
So what's your plans now on in terms of training as the Olympics is still on? They say that the
Yeah,
Olympics is still.
yeah.
How you doing with that now?
Um, well, we were trying to get focused on training for indoor season, and so that's why I'm kind of frustrated that we're still not in the stadium yet, and so because indoors is right around the corner, we need to be tuning in on technique, and so I want to get as much meets in as possible before the majority of the outdoor meets start, so that my technique can get time to develop. Because I'm planning on changing it so that I
Yeah,
can be
at
in my
this late
best form.
stage.
Well, not really change it. I started off with double arm, and so I'm now doing single arm. But I want to transition back to double arm before I went to college, and I think that's something that can benefit me in the end. And so it's just a matter of getting to meets. And thankfully, I have a sponsor that now that can send me and my coach to meets. And so the majority of the time I go alone, and so I'm just my main focus is to get to meets, participate as compete as much as I can so that the results and the marks can get better and better over time. And so I'm kind of that type of jumper. It takes a while for me to build up to those positive results, but hopefully with my fitness at this point, it doesn't take me as long. But that's the goal and the aim to get to indoor, get as much meets as possible, and then transition into outdoor with that same high intensity in my training at that point.
What's your coach now?
James
Oh,
Roll
James Rowe,
from Leap of
jumpers.
Faith, yes.
Yeah, good coach, good
Yes, he
coach.
is.
I'll ask you this question: the Olympics. Some persons wanted to go. Some
Mm-hmm.
were saying they were scared. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to take that risk. What was your?
I was also one of those persons of the latter that didn't want to take the risk to go without knowing that what protocols would they have in place,
Mm-hmm.
where the fans would be able to associate, mingle with the athletes, how were they going to bring the athletes in, coaches, the events, and like Mr. Archer mentioned before, with the shot put, the javelins, how are all of these things going to be, cleaned and
Sanitize.
yeah, it was just a lot of questions being thrown in the air. And then traveling from this side of the world to that side of the world, you have to go via airplane. And so it was just one safety was basically the main point and health at that point. So I think now that we know that they're putting things into place, I think a lot of athletes feel safer going to the Olympic Games at this point.
Speaking with Pauline Davison, who was in studio with me on Monday, she said sometimes what may look at like a disadvantage may be
Mm-hmm.
an advantage, so it may work in your favor.
It's true.
Some like you say, you want to do some adjustments to your
Yeah.
technique, so
Mm-hmm.
you're looking forward to that way, or are you looking at it from that angle?
Yeah, definitely. Going into this Olympics, I was really still using single arm technique, and I realized that maybe this happened for a reason for a lot of athletes, and I feel that a lot of them are looking at that perspective, and so I really, if any athletes are probably listening right now, just take advantage of the time because this is the time to perfect what you may be lacking in. And so just to work towards that because it comes one in a lifetime. You don't have any regrets in terms of your career as a track and field athlete and an athlete on the whole. So take advantage of it as much as possible.
Yeah, from Andres. Andres is like my second home. I used to be
Yes,
down
the
there at
big
least
yard.
two times a month.
All the
One
time.
time for track meet and stuff. A lot of good athletes came out of Andres, but
Yes.
like they after they reach a certain point, they don't want to go. Well, why is that?
You know, I think it comes down. Well, it starts up at the level of high school or even primary school being developed from a young age, having the resources and the facilities. And then, after high school, a lot of them don't have the opportunity of being awarded scholarships or having person to support them to be able to go off to school. And so it starts from being developing their talent so they can be, chosen or drafted, or someone can view them as a potential, asset for their school. And so it just comes down at the beginning stage to be able to have them attractive to go away and even school. You can't really have a good, decision of going to a D1 school, even D2 school without your academics and both going hand in hand. And so it just comes down to opportunity and developing them to be at the point where they can be successful to, go abroad. And a lot of them don't have that opportunity, unfortunately.
What I've noticed as well, Andres, they've been coming here to the national high school and just dominating. And then the next year, you see the Andres athletes in schools over here.
I don't know. I don't know. It's funny. I was actually supposed to go to SAC when I was in high school. They asked me if I wanted to come. I was like, no. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's because I was just familiar with being at home and I felt at peace there and I was doing good there. And
Hmm.
so it's also similar to athletes going abroad and after they graduate they either chose to stay or they chose to come home. I choose to come home. It's just I don't see a problem with training at home. It's just the mindset is if you come home, will you have access to certain stuff? Will you
Definitely.
have opportunities traveling to meets? That's the problem
Uh-huh.
with being at home at this point. And so it goes hand in hand. Coming athletes coming from Andres, I don't blame them. And if they see if there's a better opportunity for them to be here, to have better opportunities to go away or to shine, then I would advise them to do so because sometimes we're neglected in Andres. But any family island, I could say probably if they don't have the opportunity to come here, they won't be seen at all. And so if you have the opportunity to do so, then take it.
Good thing with you, when you were in high school, you dominated at that time, right? I looking
Yes.
at you right now, all I can remember, I bring in the mic to interview you, and you say, he coming, run, he coming, he coming. Now you're talking. You see all that exposure now.
Yes, I have you to thank for that, apparently.
Uh-huh.
A lot. So I've gotten better public speaking. And, I realized over the years, it's going to happen. So you might as well just take advantage and do what you have to do and let people know how you feel about, your sport and your accomplishments. And you, even viewers, even if it's disappointing in a way, you still have to learn how to speak to people. So,
One thing I'm disappointed in, and I know a few years ago they tried. I can't believe that the Carl Oliver track is
oh,
still
God.
top.
Listen. I remember speaking. I don't know if it was a coach or an athlete, but I said, the tire track is where we started off on, but I feel that at some point developing the islands in terms of track and field is fundamental. They promised from years ago, from I was in high school, that the track would be rubber. It's still tar. Like you don't know what that's doing to an athlete's body, like mentally, physically, it's impacting them. And not in reference to Jamaica, but I have to. They basically have a track almost in every parish school that you could think of. The runways are rubber. The most of the track aren't rubber, but they find a way to make it available to them. And I feel that it's only so much tracks in the Bahamas. Why not just put the resources, the funding into it to have it done? And we have talent in Andres. You just have to see it and come down and witness it for yourself to be able to, this is worth investing in.
What I
So,
like about Andres and myself and a couple of my friends talked about it when we were down there in South. Andres is a hidden jewel. As we are going through this pandemic right now, an NBA team could fly in there. The gym in South Andrews State Building, that's a big gym.
Wow.
They could hub in
I
their
didn't know that.
activities. Same thing if you were to surface the Carl Oliver truck. That's athletes like to get away from that busy
Yes.
Nassau, Freeport atmosphere. Go down there, train, go to the hotel, access to the beach, go back to the
Correct.
hotel, to the truck, access to the beach. What is that?
You know, I would think that I don't want to specifically call out anybody in the ministry, but I would just look at a plan to just go back to beginning, develop the islands. You could make so much different revenue, I guess, from investing in that, making it attractive to not only athletes in the Bahamas but athletes in other countries. And so we have to be smart and realistic about what we have available here. And definitely Andros is a big possibility. They just have to be open-minded to see that. And put just so you can take value here in Nassau with all the schools here. We have athletes in the islands too. Like we be there. You just have
basketball,
to. Yes.
Track
all
and field.
around. Swimmers. We have possible tennis players, volleyball players, but they don't have the resources to try and say that they can do it. If they don't try, have training camps, something of that sort, maybe on the weekends to develop the islands and make it attractive to everybody. And that's what we need.
I know that the baseball league, Freedom Farm, was doing some stuff down in Central. They were building fields and having games on weekends to get the young kids involved. This pandemic come and cost a curveball on just about everything. And like you were saying, and my boys were discussing, yes, Andros, Eleuthero, those islands. I know athletes who will just love to take their family down there and just train in the gym. They know nobody's going to bother them. They don't want to go shopping. They just want to train, go to the gym back and forth. And this idea has been tossed around, but nobody seems to be catching on to it.
And what I was thinking too, like, even if I wanted to go home, it could only be on a weekend because I have to get back to training. You could imagine, even for someone at the level that I am at, or upcoming athletes, if they know that there are resources in Andros, I mean, relaxation is a must when you go Andros in any event, but to have the resources there to be able to focus on your craft is important too, just to spend time home, and people would love and enjoy that. And I just feel it's just important that the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, or whomever, look into that. You have athletes in Eleuthero, Long Island, who don't get the possibility of even seeing national high school. They don't know what it is to compete at that level. So imagine them putting dreams of competing in an NCAA championships is far-reaching if they don't know that they're given the chance to do so.
Tamara Myers, the once shy little girl out of North Andros High School, now very vocal and speaking. You folks in the family alley, you can call in and voice with her. I know many of you agree. 3255-403-5. That's 3255-403-5. We're going to take another break here on the OT and be right back. She's going to stay with me. We have much more to talk about after this break, including National Sports Heritage Month.
COVID-19 has changed the global movement of people, impacted the way business is done, and brought to the surface a new health perspective for the global community. To bring you the latest on this pandemic and our country's response, tune into the morning edition at a new time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the ZNS Television Network.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. When a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours, you should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television or radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and keep children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and a car tank full of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds up to 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables in a waterproof container and store them on the highest floor in your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency. When a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, it is extremely important to be prepared and know just what to do. Stay informed about the storm's path by listening to the radio or television for hurricane progress reports. Check emergency food and household supplies. Be sure you have extra batteries for flashlights and radios. Bring in outdoor items like lawn furniture and garden tools. Anchor objects that cannot be brought inside. Secure buildings by closing and boarding up windows. Remove outside antennas and satellite dishes. Turn refrigerators and freezers to the coldest settings, opening only when absolutely necessary and closing quickly. Purchase ice and store it in an ice chest. Keep drinking water in clean jugs and bottles. Clean your bathtub with bleach and fill it with water for washing and flushing, not for drinking, making sure to keep the bathroom door closed so that small children cannot access the filled tub. Do not go out to videotape or take photos of the storm. Take pictures from inside where it is safe and dry. There is no harm in being overly cautious where a hurricane is concerned. It is truly better to be safe than sorry. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
The Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development, Department of Social Services, presents a list of 2020 official hurricane shelters for the island of Bimini, Gateway Gymnasium, Bailey Town, and Bimini United Burial Society Hall, Alistown. And those were the listings of hurricane shelters for the year 2020.
During this pandemic, it is our duty to ensure that citizens, residents, and visitors are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocol. Cleaning and sanitizing will help stop the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Pay special attention to areas that are frequently touched in high traffic by family, friends, and clients. Make sure you're using proper cleaning materials and sanitizers. Place all cleaning materials in the correct disposal or storage area. I'm Ambassador Brittany Johnson of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit. Save a life that may be your own.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Good morning. We are back on the OT part of National Sports Heritage Month. Once again, the top 20 countdown. You can email your list to oriawknowles@hotmail.com or the c.fisher@znsbahamas.com. Don't forget the Rise and Shine show with downtown Natasha Brown, the sports legend interviews that comes on Sundays, and to get your vitamin C. How you been taking your vitamin C?
Every day. Emergency vitamin C. I order them off Amazon every month, and I'm stocked up.
How important is that for athletes during this time? I mean, with any other time.
It's very important. You know, you have to be able to keep your immune health up, to par. And you can't compete if you're sick or you're not at your best. And so it's important to take your vitamins, your supplements, stay hydrated, eat healthy. And vitamin C is, especially during this time, is even more so important more than now than ever.
How you can eat healthy during COVID when you're locked down and all you can do is
Oh,
be
no, it's
eating a
very
lot of potato
possible.
chip and all those stuff.
It's
can't
very
eat healthy.
possible. Yes, you
I
can.
I put on at least 20 pounds. So I know Hope Shelly and you're still looking nice. I know you put on a couple pounds. My wife must have put on 30 pounds. I don't even recognize her no more.
No, man, it's it's possible. You just have to stay committed. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. I have my 1 or 2 cheat days myself, but I have a goal at the end of the day, and so I want to make sure that I do everything I can to keep that at the forefront.
Okay.
Yeah.
National Sports Heritage Month. This is what we're all here for. The Ministry of the Top 20 Countdown. Even in this year, the ministry is still honoring these athletes. You feel proud about that?
I'm really proud about that. The athletes are the gems of this country, and so we try our best to represent the country at our best, domestically, internationally, and we have amazing athletes in every sport. And so I feel every year is something that should be done to show the athletes that the country is behind them all the way. And so I appreciate it very much.
You won't be able to put on your $300 dress, get your hairdo for those gala events this year, those award banquets. How you feel about that?
Well, from young, I was really not an attention seeker, so part of me is like, I don't have to dress up, and but it's a nice event because you get to see fellow athletes that you can participate with and travel with, and coaches and friends, and so I'm gonna miss it. I'm not gonna lie, but if it has to be done, then it has to be done, but. Hopefully they can do something virtually to still make that possible.
Virtually you won't get that effect. And
No,
that's what the ministry officials are saying. You won't get that
Yeah.
effect because you want your family and
Yeah,
your
they
friends
are.
there.
To
And you
celebrate.
want to dress up and all that stuff.
The COVID just changed a lot for us, and just with competition, I don't know how competition's going to be now. If your family or friends are going to be able to be in the stands to support you and cheer you on, because with jumpers. Some jumpers are hype jumpers. If you don't have people, clapping. And so if you're not in
ready to go.
if you don't have people in the stands, what will that mean for the athletes itself? And so having people support you is really important, especially in athletics. And so I'm hoping it doesn't create a drastic change, but we're just hoping for the best at this point.
I see most athletes go in the second job. You already have your second job, but any intentions of going into coaching?
Definitely. I can see myself coaching. I think, I want to give back to home, especially. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that as yet, but there's time, God's my life, to figure that out. And so I can see myself giving back. And we don't have a lot of female jumpers, representing the country now. We have 1 or 2 amazing ones that are out there. So I want to give back in that way for sure.
Why do you think females and athletes in general stay away from jumping and distance events? Everybody think they are 120 meter, 400 meter runner. Even the slowest person think they rather do that.
No, I and that's funny. Like if we go to any events, or if I'm casually just walking in the grocery store, hey, are you an athlete? First question comes up. What race do you run? I'm a jumper.
So
You're a
so jumpers
jumper?
are not athletes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, can you guess jumper first? Sometimes, it's always a question that comes up, but it is track and field. Or if you have someone, where you go when you go into the track, I'm jumping today. Oh, you're a jumper? Yeah, I'm a jumper. You have jumpers, and so it's people when you think that they're sprinters.
That is so crazy.
Exactly,
But
and so I always have to make people clear that I'm not a sprinter, I'm a jumper.
I believe I think the Bahamas has been spoiled with the success of our
the sprinters, yeah.
Everything that everybody wants to be a sprinter, and
Yeah.
then the guys and the young ladies that do sprints when they're in school, they're the king and the queen.
Oh,
you know?
yes,
You
yes.
can jump 40 feet too in the triple jump in high school with set a
Yeah.
record, and the person could go there and run 13 seconds.
And I would get overshadowed.
Once they run that 13 seconds, they overshadow you.
Very
It's all
fast.
And I think that need the change moving
Very
forward.
fast.
You think we could have a change?
I hope so, because even when we have local meets here, let's say we have a good jump competition going on and you have the 400 meter race going on, instantly
Everybody move.
commentating stops, focuses on the track, they forget what's going on by the pit, even though we're right there by the audience, right there by the VIP food. And so I really think that's something that needs to change because we're important too. We want the love too, you know, and so I just hope that changes.
So because like I said, when I first met you, we were in the 1 to 2. So why did you focus more on jumping and not on the sprints?
You know, I'm still quick. Let me just put it out there if I decide to focus on it. But I feel, you know, more people were making teams, or it's harder to get on teams being a sprinter than a jump.
I hope some kids are listening to you.
Yes, and so there are other avenues of making teams, and for me that was triple jump, that was long jump. But when I put all of my effort and emphasis on training for that, I excelled when I didn't think I could, when my confidence was low, when I didn't make teams some year, I didn't allow that to stop me. And so try different events, and you'll be surprised at what you can accomplish, you know. And so don't always focus on sprinting, even though sprint is a big part in probably every aspect of track and field. But for me, I love jumps. I don't see me not doing jumps ever. And I still participate if I can on, you know, relay teams if they need me to. And so it just goes from being a multi-talented when it comes to different events. But for me, it's jumps.
Do you think you would have been able to make it in what's going through right now, virtual class? Not sure if you're going to have a season coming up in track and field, then your eligibility. There was a lot going on.
That's another thing, you know, starting off from NCAA not having, I think it was indoors that got canceled. And so instantly from that happened, we know it was going downhill from there. So, you know, 2020 was definitely not going to have a season. But I'm definitely hoping that, you know, athletes are still hopeful that a lot of things will come into place where we can go into meets next year. Because apparently, I don't know how true it is, but I'm hearing that they're trying to cancel a few indoor meets or make it where only certain individuals get into those meets. And so that's going to make it difficult for us now to compete, traveling from the Bahamas to go there to compete. And so we don't know what's going to happen in terms of that. And so we just really have to hope for the best.
Stay focused.
Yes, and then home meets gets rare after about March or February, April. And so we have no choice.
On the competition.
Yes, and so it's competition's not home, so we have to go away. And so that means expenses, all these other things we have to take into consideration when it comes to our competition season come next year. And so we don't know what's going to happen at this point, but hoping for the best as always.
We'd like to thank Tamara Myers for joining us on the OT
Thank you
this
for
morning. Looking through my phone, so many texts from persons saying that you speak so well. They like your point on Andres. You reached the point, but if they had known you when I know you.
I thank you too, Charles Fisher.
Fisher coming, run, Fisher coming, run, Fisher coming. He coming with the mic, he coming with his mic.
It's true. He's not lying. He's not lying. He turned me into the person I'm held in front of me speaking today, and so I have him to thank for that, for the countless interviews. So
thank you so much, and continue to make all of us proud, especially the folks there in Andros. All right, be safe.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot to Mama Myers for joining us here on the OT.